Look closely: order, precision, and beauty. From the smallest detail to the vastness of the universe, did all of this come by itself? Or is there something behind it? This question has haunted humanity for centuries. Philosophers, scientists, and thinkers. Because this isn't about belief, it's about explanation. Why does the universe exist at all? Because if everything we see depends on something else for existence, then what does the universe itself depend on? Recently, this public debate brought attention to a powerful concept, not from the scripture, but from the logic, known as the argument from contingency. But this argument isn't new. It's a classical philosophical principle that has been used for centuries to explore whether reality itself points to the existence of a necessary being / God. So let's get into this. Let's start with something simple. Look around you. Everything you can point to, your phone, your house, this planet, depends on something else to exist. Your phone depends on factories, materials, and energy. This planet depends on a star. The star depends on physical laws and earlier cosmic conditions. In philosophy, we call things like this contingent. So, if everything in the universe is contingent, meaning if everything depends on something else to exist, can the universe as a whole explain its own existence? And that's the puzzle the argument from contingency is trying to solve. Contingency argument therefore goes like this. There cannot exist a world where dependent things depend on dependent things to infinity. Let me give you a simple example to help you understand. Imagine you walk into a massive library that has infinite number of books. But every book in this library is copied from another book. So you decided to ask the librarian, where did this book come from? He says, it was copied from another book. You ask again, where did that book come from? And he replies, another book. You ask again, and the answer is still the same. And this cycle of questioning goes on endlessly, and every time his answer is another book. That means every book in this library depends on another book to exist. Now here is the key question. Can a library exist if every book is borrowed and no book is original? Or in other words, can this loop go on forever? Well, if every book depends on another and there is no independent original book, then the library itself could never exist. And in the case of the universe, the same argument applies. If someone says that this universe came into existence because of the Big Bang, and the Big Bang was caused by another universe, then the question remains the same. What caused that universe to exist? Well, you may say another universe. What caused that universe to exist? You may say another universe. And what caused that universe to exist? And the answer remains the same. And you can keep doing that and keep tracing back endlessly till infinity. This leads to what is known as infinite regress. An endless chain of causes that, if truly existed, would mean that our universe could never have come into existence because it would be stuck waiting for an infinite number of causes to occur first. Let me explain. Our universe would have to wait an infinite amount of time before it come into existence in this finite time. But by definition, an infinite amount of time never ends. And for that reason, our universe would never come into existence. This is a logical fallacy, and therefore the logic compels us to a crucial conclusion. Based on the contingency argument by Ibn Sina, also known as necessary existent argument, and Leibniz's principle of sufficient reason, says that every chain organized of causes and effect, be it finite or infinite, is in need of causes external to it if it does not include anything save effect. It is necessary that this external cause be linked to an extremity. It has also become clear that if this chain includes an uncaused thing, then this thing is an extremity and a limit. Therefore, every chain terminates in that whose existence is necessary in itself. Okay, once again, in simpler terms, every chain of causes must ultimately terminate in something that is uncaused, something that exists by necessity and does not depend on anything else. This necessary existent has to be, as they defined, uncaused and not dependent, of course. Eternal or outside time, because time is part of the contingent universe. Immaterial, that is not composed of physical part, as those would be contingent as well. Incredibly powerful and intelligent, as the source of all existence, order, and complexity in this universe. And lastly, unique, only one, as two necessary beings would limit each other or explain each other. And therefore, it is this concept that many identify as God or higher power. Not necessarily a specific religious God yet, but a transcendent, necessary, and foundational reality. And this necessary being or God has been defined in many holy scripture, which I have covered in earlier videos. So to sum up, a necessary existence is basically an independent being, self-sufficient and not in need. Whereas a contingent existence is in need, not self-sufficient and dependent. Now, I'm sure you must have a few questions and objection to this theory. So let me know in the comments, but I will address the two most common objections to this theory right now. Objection number one. Why can't the universe itself be the necessary being? Well, modern cosmology strongly suggests that the universe, that is space, time, matter, had a beginning. It is contingent, changing, and physical system. So everything within it obeys contingent laws. Whereas a necessary being, on the other hand, by definition, must be beyond the physical temporal system it explains. So the universe is the thing to be explained, not the explanation itself. Objection number two. What if there is an infinite regress, and why not? Well, the response is an infinite regress of causes in time might be conceivable, or in numbers. For example, you can keep counting till infinity. But this argument targets an infinite regress of explanation in being. Even an infinite series of contingent things, each dependent on the last, is as a whole is still contingent and dependent, because its existence still begs for an explanation. Because infinity does not solve the problem of contingency, it simply multiplies it. So if you are convinced that God does exist and that this reality can only be one, then isn't the next honest question worth asking is, which religion truly describes God as one and actually lives by that belief? The idea of one God exists in many religions, but believing in one God is not the same as living by it. Belief in one God, who is unseen, absolutely one, eternal, and worshipped without image or idol, is the core foundation of Islam. But I won't ask you to take my word for it. Research it for yourself and find out the truth. See you next time.